So by now, most of us, whether we understand it or not, have heard of love languages. And so you may think that your love language is just how you prefer to receive love. But what if it's also revealing your childhood wounds, your attachment styles, and your emotional needs? So in this video, I'll break down what your love language actually says about you and how to use that awareness to actually create healthy long-term relationships. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment your favorite part of this video or something new you learned down below. Let's get started. For those of you that don't have much of a background of what the 5 love languages are, this is actually created by Gary Chapman, and his theory is that there are 5 specific ways that we all like and desire to be loved and receive love. However, there are at least 1 or 2 more dominant ones based on the individual person. So the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, physical touch, and receiving of gifts. So out of the 5 of those, even though we all desire all 5 on some capacity, there are at least 1 or 2 more dominant needs based on the individual person. So for instance, one person may enjoy all of these love languages, but for them, receiving gifts and physical affection are high on that list above all the other ones. So I can go without the other ones, but these 2 or this specific one is definitely one that touches my soul, right? So let's get into what your love language says about you. Let's start with words of affirmation. So if words of affirmation is your love language, this usually means that you crave reassurance, validation, and you believe that someone truly sees you through their words when they can say, I appreciate you, I'm proud of you, I love you, I care about you. And there's genuine meaning behind it. It's not just empty words. And this may stem back from a childhood where words of affirmation were extremely rare, if ever given. And or also if words of affirmation were given and praise was given whenever something was done right, whenever you did what they wanted you to do, whenever you embodied that version of the child or the teenager or the adult even that they wanted you to embody. They could be your parents or they could be whoever your caregivers were growing up, because they have the most impact on us developmentally. Something to be aware of with this specific love language is that you can struggle sometimes with insecurity or low self-worth or low self-esteem. Let's jump to acts of service. So if this is your love language, you don't need words. You want actions, you want follow through, and you'd much more prefer that over words. Words you may not even believe half the time. This may mean that you might have grown up being the caregiver for your family. We also have to add into this cultural context. Maybe love wasn't shown through words. Maybe it was just shown through, well, this is your responsibility for the collective of the family. We don't need to tell you thank you for that. I have my own responsibility based on who I am in this family unit. So do you. We don't have time even in a lot of contexts and situations to say, thank you. I admire that. I'm proud of you. There's no time when you're wrestling with how to provide for your basic needs. And so we have to take into context socioeconomic status, but also cultural context that play into this. Because if you tell someone, oh, I love you, or I admire you, or thank you so much, or I'm so proud of you, it's going to be like, what? What do you mean? I don't need that. Keep going. One thing to especially look out for with this specific love language is that you can become resentful, especially if your efforts aren't being reciprocated. Now, it's not to say that you're doing things so that someone else can do something for you. No, but if you've grown up your whole life doing things for others at the expense of meeting your own needs, having to go without a lot of times, silently a lot of times, then you can have that hope internally of, well, let me just get through this and maybe I'll be able to find someone who can help me in the future. Or maybe I'll be able to finally be free of this and then I could have somebody help me. Then I can rest, right? Maybe that wasn't your expectation in the future. But when it comes to romantic relationships, there's sort of a expectation or even a hope that the partner that I'm with sees how much I'm doing and can at least take something off my plate. That can at least meet me halfway. That can say, hey, let me help you with this without you asking. If that's not done, over time, that resentment can build for you. Even if it's silent, it's still building. What about quality time? Well, this specific love language, they feel valued when they're given full presence and full attention. So we're not going to be watching movies and you're on your phone. You're going to be fully involved in this movie with me, right? If we're going out to eat and dinner, you're not going to be on your phone or distracted by something else. It's you and me. We're locked in. This is our time together. And they're very protective over that, and rightfully so. With this specific love language, you may have experienced growing up maybe inconsistent caregiving or even emotional neglect. Now, I have a full video explaining emotional neglect and how that impacts us as adults within our relationships. So if you want to check that video out, click the link up here somewhere. I never know where they are. Now, one thing to watch out for if you have this love language is that you can actually be especially sensitive to distractions in any form, or even the perception of, am I last? I'm the last one you're hanging out with. I'm the last one you've called for the invite. I'm the last one you asked for help from. And so that can create internal resentments within you of not being put first or feeling like you're not considered. That can be really hurtful, even if the person didn't mean to do that. It's just how things happened. For you, it can still be really hurtful because it just takes you back. It just reminds you one more time that you're not a priority to somebody. And that could be really hurtful. So it is helpful to communicate that with the other person so that they know, hey, I actually want to be involved within your life. I want to be a part of this as well. But I also want to feel like you want me here. And if not, then you have a choice to make of whether that person is deserving of you. Next is physical touch, which of course, this love language you feel safest and most love through affection, through touch, and through closeness. And this usually stems from experiences where physical touch was actually weaponized. So that was taken away from you whenever you did something wrong. Or maybe there was a withdrawal from your caregiver during times of conflict. Also, sometimes this stems from a lack of safety within physical touch growing up. So maybe you didn't experience what safe touching looks like. Maybe those boundaries were crossed for you. One thing to note with this specific love language is that the lack of physical touch, well, this can feel like a rejection for you. And it's safe to say that not everybody's love language is physical touch. And so if your partner's love language is not that, then they may not always want to have physical touch from you. And so them pulling away, them saying, no, not right now, that can feel like a rejection for you. Well, I'm offering you my love language. And so why are you turning me away? Why are you pushing me away in this way? This is what I need in the moment. And also, I'm putting myself out there by extending my hand to hold hands or by extending my arms to have a hug with you. So it can feel like a rejection really easy when someone else is not receptive of physical touch in that moment. Receiving gifts. If this is your love language, then of course, you feel most loved when you receive gifts. Now, this usually, when people hear this, they tend to think, oh, these lavish, extravagant gifts. No, it could be something that was free 99 that just came from your heart and you said, you know what, I thought about you and so here you go. I got this for you. That could mean the world to those who love gift giving and gift receiving. Now, with this specific love language, the history behind this may have been that you've experienced inconsistent love, and gifts, well, they became proof that somebody cared about you. So maybe somebody mistreated you, but they came back home and they gave you something that you really had your eye on or you really wanted at the time. And they never talked about it. They never addressed it with you. They never apologized, but they gave you a gift. And now your expectation is that you are happy again, that you forget it, that you move on, that we don't talk about this. So for you, you were conditioned to learn that love is shown through giving of gifts, even if anything before happened and was not acknowledged or addressed. And this can be a little bit dangerous because although you're seeking that tangible proof of love through gifts, right? So if you give me gifts, then I know you love me. We're still good. We're still okay. If that's how you receive it, then your partner can misjudge that as you being materialistic. And they may not be able to fully understand, well, why do I have to give you something in order to show you that I love you? When I'm giving it to you through quality time together or through physical touch, by being there for you emotionally, by taking something off of your plate that you have. And so it's important to remember that you can be happy with this love language and receive gifts, but also recognizing that if it's after a disagreement and the disagreement is not addressed, or if it's after abuse, whether emotionally, physically, mentally, sexually, that is not okay. And that those things should be addressed accordingly. Let's go a little bit deeper now. What about love languages and your attachment style? Your attachment styles can easily influence how you receive love and what your love language says about you. So for example, someone with an anxious attachment may crave those words of affirmation from their partner. And usually sometimes they may be in a relationship with someone where words of affirmation aren't their strong suit, isn't something that they're comfortable with. And so their partner is struggling to meet their need, but the partner is saying, well, I do all these other things as well that I'm better at, that I can provide for my partner. I just don't know how to move past giving my partner as much words of affirmation as they're needing. It seems draining. It seems a lot. What happens then? You, as the anxious attachment who wants the love language of words of affirmation, you feel like you're being too needy. You feel like you're doing too much. You're asking for too much. You're not. However, we have to work on what the attachment styles are and what your love language is. Also, what needs of yours are you meeting versus what you're seeking from others. We got to take all of these things into account. So one thing I really recommend is starting couples therapy if you and your partner are interested in working through this dynamic of how do I give you what you need? How do I receive what I need from you as far as love and care is concerned? And how do we work through the struggles that we're currently in? Therapy is going to be really helpful here. Another example would be if you're more of an avoidant type. Well, maybe your love language is not words of affirmation. Maybe your love language is acts of service, and you much more prefer this over emotional vulnerability. Now, we know that avoidant attachment styles can also become very unhealthy for relationships because at some point, things have to be addressed. However, we won't get into that today. If you want to learn more about avoidant attachment styles, watch this video up here that I'm going to put on the screen because it's really going to give you an insight look into what this attachment style is and how to actually heal and go from an avoidant attachment style to a secure attachment style. And remember that learning your attachment style, whatever it is, this can actually help you heal internally first, not just to receive the love that you want from others. So now that you know this, how do you use this awareness within your relationships? Number one, it's important to communicate your specific love language to your partner, but to also understand where this love language is coming from for you. Where does this stem from for me? So I have an acts of service love language. Let's dive a little deeper. Where did this come from? How did I get here? And what are the positives about this love language for me? What are the negatives about this love language for me? Number two, don't miss this. This is where we stop. Learn your partner's love language and their story behind it. Sometimes we dismiss our partner's experiences and just attribute it to other things. And that could be very dismissive, and your partner may feel very dismissed. But when you're interested in understanding where their love language stems from and their story, you can see a different side of your partner, of the person that you're choosing to spend time with and do life with. This will bring a lot more clarity to you about why your partner does some of the things that they do, but also it'll help you both learn how to come together and say, okay, now that we understand each other, what can we do to make this work cohesively together for the both of us? There's strength in that when you can do that. And number three, I want you to ask, what makes you feel unloved? We forget that part. We love to ask, well, what are your love languages? How do you like to receive love? And this is important. What makes you feel unloved, uncared for? Because this often reveals more than just what your preferences are. It reveals hurt. It reveals past experiences. It reveals shortcomings, things that they didn't receive from others that they should have, that they needed to. And it can open up a whole world of different conversations, insight, and love and care and more connection. If you both are struggling to do this, then of course I would recommend working with someone outside of yourselves who's unbiased, who can help put the pieces together of where you both are lacking, where you guys are missing each other, and how to come back together. So let me ask you, what's your love language? Did you find your love language in anything that I've explained earlier today? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and maybe share it with a friend who's interested in this as well. Thank you so much for being here. I'll catch you in the next one.